Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Director Watch, an AwardsWatch podcast that attempts to get inside the mind of cinema's greatest auteurs, explore what drives them, and maybe we go on a few unrelated tangents along the way. I'm Ryan McQuade, your executive editor here at AwardsWatch, and joining me as always is my long-lost twin and co-host, Jay Ledbetter.
Let's get together. Yeah. It's time for The Parent Trap. And I'm so excited. I can't believe it. We're moving on from Kozlowski to Nancy Meyers. Talk about some whiplash. Can't believe it. I'm so excited to just have some fun. It's just going to be fun.
We haven't had fun?
No, we have, but I felt pressure. Now I'm just like, I mean, obviously, Nancy Meyers is a true artist. I'm not going to,
to undercut Nancy in the first 5 minutes of this.
I'm not going to be rude to her and say she's not like an artist in the same way. But that said, The Parent Trap is a very different kind of movie to talk about than Three Colors Red.
That's true.
All right. It's a different deal.
That is true. But I feel, Jay, weirdly, if I want to put the thesis out there already, that Nancy falls in line with Tony Scott.
Interesting.
In that they make a certain type of movie that Hollywood refuses to make anymore.
I can buy that.
And they have a magic that is unlike many directors that try to do the thing that they do.
She hasn't made a movie in 10 years.
It's fucking nuts that she hasn't made a movie in 10 years. And I get angry about it. Very passionate about Nancy Meyers. Jay knows this. I love Nancy. This was my idea. I thought, what a lovely way to end this year. We had such a great year and so many wonderful conversations. And one of those lovely conversations, Jay, was earlier this year when we talked about Lost in Translation. And we had to have this guest back on by the end of the year. It's one of my favorites. The host of Pop Culture Confidential, that is Christina Birro, is back on Director Watch.
Hello. Thank you for having me back.
Christina, we had to bring you on for, I think, a little bit of a lighter fare. I think Lost in Translation was too sad. It was too sad. And
you think that's a little heavier than The Parent Trap?
I think so. Well, you know what? They're about the same, right? There's secret messages and, notes from afar, and people were separated.
I feel like I'm moving from the love and angst of the first marriage to parenting here.
Yeah. Well, and isn't that about Bill Murray's character in that movie? He's just kind of scared of being a parent, and she's scared of becoming one as well and growing up. And
I think there's an easy argument that the people in this movie are more broken than the people in Lost in Translation.
I was just going to say,
they may be successful,
but
these are the most broken people, I think.
We are dealing with deeply disturbed individuals in this.
Yeah,
I think we need to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it, Jay. We're going to talk about how weirdly The Parent Trap, when we all saw this in '98, was not the horror movie that we think it is now, which is kind of crazy. But Jay, before we get into that, I want to ask our guest, Christina, Nancy Meyers. I'm a big fan. Jay, would you say Jay's a big fan?
Oh yeah, big fan.
He wouldn't be doing a series with me on this otherwise, and if he wasn't a big fan. But Christina, for yourself, Nancy Meyers, what does she mean to you as a director? What do you love about her? What don't you love about her movies? Give us your take on Nancy.
Oh, I'm a big fan of Nancy, even though there's certain elements of her movies, which particularly parents and certain female characters that we'll get into later in this episode, I'm very sure. But for me, she's like the fact that she's a director who I know has the script of The Apartment lying on her desk. Billy Wilder's The Apartment tells you everything. I know that's an important movie for me and you, Ryan. I think that she has a completely unique sensibility. And I cannot believe she hasn't done anything in the past 10 years. And you can see her movies in so many other other films that you see out there. Like, I think Reese Witherspoon and her production company, there's someone who's taken over the Nancy Meyers way. And the influence is immense, but absolutely a very important director for me.
That's the thing over the last 10 years is that we've all started to notice, right? Is that Nancy Meyers, she makes romantic comedies. And for lack of a better word for them. And that's kind of died, right, folks? Like the studio romantic comedy had been mostly dead since something like that. Look at The Intern. We're going to talk about it in a couple of weeks.
Not a romantic comedy.
Not a romantic comedy, but it has like the sort of just
a platonic comedy.
Exactly. An earnest comedy, right? From the Nancy Meyers. And I think
she's more than romantic comedies because she has very other elements.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like a combo of very many things.
She has a lot of
that disappeared after her, and then
No, but I think like you look at a movie like that movie made so much money, and if you look at it, her movies make money, and I know that we live in a world right now where studios need money. They need people. They need familiar IP. They need familiar people. And I know that we kind of did this idea of putting this series together because earlier in the year, or at least late last year, early this year, was announced that she got turned down by Netflix to make sort of a dream passion project to bring her back. And that's what's so baffling about it is we're going to talk about it with this film or all the other films that she's ever made. She works or finds movie stars to work with and gets the best work of maybe some of their late careers out of them. Everybody loves working with her. There's never been a bad Nancy Meyers experience from a set. And she makes studios hand over fist more money than most directors even dream of. Like, I love PTA. He's never made a dime for a studio. She's made more than that. And to not be allowed to have the benefit of the doubt and be able to get her passion project, like I love Marty to death. And I'm not saying that she's Martin Scorsese, but like Marty's had some clunkers over the last couple of years. I mean, like
some expensive clunkers.
Not in terms of the quality of the film, but in terms of financially.
Yes.
Like Silence made no money whatsoever. You know,
this movie was going to cost $150 million that Nancy Meyers wanted to make, which is
it's insane,
crazy.
But it's also you got to get those up. I bet you if it was
the red one cost $250 million.
Yeah, so wasn't it like The Fall Guy cost like $200 million to make? Like Gladiator 2 cost $350.
Yeah, I mean movies are ridiculous.
These are ridiculous.
That's got to be one expensive kitchen.
It's man. Could you imagine? And it was like in Europe too, so like she was going to go full all out for it.
Who was in it? Fassbender was in it, right?
It was Fassbender. It was, I think, Scarlett Johansson, if I'm not mistaken. Owen Wilson is right there, I think. But yeah, I don't know. But I do know this. The story of Nancy Meyers doesn't actually begin with The Parent Trap. The story of Nancy Meyers begins many years before. She wasn't just, Jay, I don't know if you did the research for this, but I did.
About what?
And Nancy,
her career?
Yes, her career.
And her life.
Yeah, exactly. So born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She went to American University and, like Christina said, had a big admiration for Billy Wilder, Mike Nichols, these amazing screenwriters and geniuses, Elaine May, and started writing tons of films.
A mother who was an interior designer.
Exactly. Yes. And so then she started working with her husband on writing films, and they had a big break with Private Benjamin in 1980, which she gets an Oscar nomination for. Goldie Hawn is the producer and really championed for her in that script. And Hawn was nominated for Best Actress for that film. That movie was pretty successful. I watched that film this week. I don't know if you, Christina, have you seen Private Benjamin in a while?
I've seen it, not recently, but absolutely seen it.
Not the greatest film in the world, but for 1980, a movie like that makes total sense. Why a movie like that would Goldie Hawn, the peak of her powers, huge hit. And so then she makes she does a ton of other screenwriting credits. One of those other films was Baby Boom. That's where she first works with Diane Keaton, who is an actress that she will be working with a couple more times throughout her career. That film, I watched that. Uh, Fine film, but you can see that Nancy, over the course of these couple of years working with um, Charles Shire, her husband at the time, she's fine tooling the 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 Nancyisms that we would come to love, and they start coming to a head, I think, in 1991 with their remake of Father of the Bride with Steve Martin. And I watched that and Father of the Bride Part 2 this week to prepare for this, because these movies were big hits. And a lot of that was from her husband, Charles, saying, like, a lot of this is because she really wrote the scripts. He championed her, and she was essentially then given a couple of options to finally step into the director's chair, make her directorial debut. And she decided to pick this property from Disney and remake it from the Haley Mills classic of, like, what is it, the 1970s. And she made The Parent Trap. I think one of
1961.
1961. Okay, so I was a little bit off. But making a film that I would dare say, as I kick it back over to Christina for her thoughts on the film, is one of those rare films where the remake is actually better than the original, and starts the career of one of the most successful directors of the modern era. So, with all that said, Christina, your crazy wild thoughts on The Parent Trap from 1998.
Well, so this movie has been with me in different eras of my life, and watching it when I was younger, I just loved this movie. I loved the characters of Lindsay Lohan, this little girl who was just so inventive and a little nuts and an incredible performance, and but it's a completely different experience as a parent. It goes without saying, because these people are nuts. You just cannot watch this movie without thinking, how the F can you split your children up as babies? And send them one of them halfway across the world, never ask about them, never know anything, then get shit-faced on vodka the first time you're going to see your father of your children 4 days after meeting one of your children again. Basically, I sat there thinking last time I watched it, what I want now is a Noah Baumbach movie about the period when Ryan Quaid and Natasha Richardson were deciding how to split up these children and why, and that whole divorce movie, because it's just impossible to watch this movie today as a parent and think that anything here makes sense. These people are incredibly wealthy. One of them lives in Napa Valley. One of them lives in London. They could take the Concorde. They could arrange for the father to come see them once a month. They can have an incredibly good relationship and explain this to the girls. And I just could not watch this without thinking of this every single minute. I have to say that it's really changed for me in every way. And I can't just, yeah. It's really hard not to see this as these people are really crazy.
Yeah. J-Dog?
Yeah, it's an absolutely demented film. It is. I think I might have had a similar reaction to Christina, but
yeah,
it is. I would say it is wholly demented. These are two of the worst parents that have ever existed. Their plot is cruel. They are extraordinarily selfish. Movie's incredibly charming. Had a great time.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not that you don't have a great, and they have, I mean, but another thing also, how can Dennis Quaid introduce his new girlfriend 5 minutes after his daughter arrives from 5 weeks away at camp? I mean, they could have a nice dinner together and do something.
Well, clearly, as they explain, he loves rushing into relationships, because that's how they got into this mess in the first place, because they rush into their relationship and get married and then have two kids. And then, yeah, I mean, the logistics of it.
But also, there's no context for why they hate each other as much as they do. When they see each other, there's like no real sense that they hate each other.
No,
It's
when they're with each other, it's like, oh, these are like.
That's why we need that movie about what the hell happened.
Yeah.
The first
because
week
it's like
she's brain. It's like what happened and how
it's
did
like
you
Grant and
decide
Hepburn
this?
with the two of them when they're on screen. They're like, yeah.
And
well,
who says you take this one? I'll take this one. And
Yeah.
which one looks more British? You know what I mean? And
And then the other thing that absolutely threw me for a loop was when they meet each other, it takes them like 2 days to even start to think that they might be related.
I know. And everyone at the camp who's like, no one reacts and they send them away to this after bullying each other like crazy. They spent alone in this little house looking exactly the same and just leaving them there on their own.
Yeah, you're
What's the
misbehaving. We're gonna
insurance
leave
policy?
you completely
Unattended.
what kind of freaking camp?
There must be the I mean, these it's
This
a camp for very rich children anyway, where you fence.
This isolation cabin where you're just like, no, I mean, first off,
got a couple Zorros. They're very good.
if you want
I
to
know, they're
somehow get past the logic of these two parents, which I'll get into,
which I do, and I have a fun time with this
but it's also part of the enjoyment, thinking all the time, how can this be possible? How can this be possible?
No, I go back to, but you think that the camp would be the end of it, because these people there that work at this camp, they would have probably, through all the rituals and things that these kids are doing to each other, there's got to be a telephone. There's got to be. And there's got to be like, hey, Dennis Quaid.
Their birth dates.
Hey, hey, Natasha Richardson, by the way, your daughter has been an absolute pain in the ass, and she's doing it to a girl that looks exactly like her. This meeting would have happened if there were competent adults also at the camp as well.
The Marvas are they have their own issues. We want a movie about the Marvas too.
Yeah. Right? Oh my God. I loved it where she's just like, yeah, I'm really allergic to strawberries. And then the oblivion, like that movie is summed up by the strawberry scene at the mess hall where like, one girl's like, oh, where Hallie's like, yeah, I'm really allergic to strawberry. And the old lady is just like, okay, dear. And then like, she looks over to Annie and she's like, I'm allergic to strawberries too. She's like, how did you get over? Oh, who cares? That's like literally the movie. That is the logic and just any type of, resemblance of how smart this thing is really, and how much you need to think and need to turn off your brain. Just do that, because none of the characters seem to ever give a shit.
The grandfather who's lost a granddaughter, and he's like, oh, I'm so happy that this is happening now.
The scene where
there are so many people who have to keep their mouths shut about this extraordinarily
I want to know how
much has been done.
I want to know how much Chessie and Martin are paid, because there is no amount of money.
They both absolutely rock, but
they rock in this movie.
They do. They're so good. I'm so happy for Lisanne Walter that now this is the first time I see it again, because I've seen it a few times, but that Lisanne Walter has really found this enormous success, Abbott Elementary, and she's so good. She's so good.
Well, they're the best characters in the film because because also they're the most empathetic to this situation. It's like they've been holding this secret also in as well, and they're the ones that have real emotion. They're the ones that cry.
But the thing about the movie is, even as unusual and absurd the situation is, and how cruel they may be in when you take a second to litigate what's going on, Dennis Quaid and Natasha Richardson are like
the hottest people ever.
One, super hot. Two, super charming. And you're like, I get it. Like, I forgive you.
Yeah.
And then you litigate it again for 2 seconds and you're like, oh my God, you are absolute monsters.
No, I get it. This movie is the most wild premise. And on paper, I don't know how anyone said yes. But then it's the magic of Nancy.
It's so
you
good.
You just don't give a shit about the logic, because you're like, then you end up it's because this movie is the logic of an 11-year-old. That's what this movie is.
No, it's the logic of a man on death row is what it is. It's a deeply disturbed.
But then you're just like,
we
you
have
know
to
what?
talk about
They got to get back together. They gotta do it. And these kids are psychopaths as well. Like nobody talks about, like, they are insane kids to come up with that. And it's like, oh, they're just chip off the old block, So, but what were you going to say,
Well, we
Christina?
have to talk about hashtag justice for Meredith Blake,
Well,
which became a thing.
yeah, it really did, I
And the
guess.
evil stepmother of movies is always very fascinating.
Jay, what do you think of Meredith in this film? What do you think of her?
No, absolutely the worst. Are there people advocating for her to?
Yeah, there's people
Yes,
like
hashtag justice for Meredith Blake.
She is introduced purely as exploitative leech. I have no love for Meredith Blake whatsoever. Elaine Hendricks,
She's great.
not a particularly good actress.
Well, she's good in this.
She's okay. But I mean, she's all there for the money. Obviously, she gets extraordinarily mistreated, but so does everyone in this movie. That's what you have to consider, is that everyone in this movie is a psychopath. So she should be treated as every other psychopath is treated by every other psychopath in this movie, which is cruelly. And
how bad was she really mistreated? Like, I mean, like, these are like harmless, like, kid stuff. Like, it's like, if you can't, honestly,
harmless kid stuff, but it's basically murder. That she's on a floaty on pills in the middle of the lake.
That is true. The sleeping pills add an extra layer.
The sleeping pills do make them kind of psych. I was thinking about that. I was like, I remember this, Jay, going back to like movies of your memory, because we saw this when we were like, I was like 6 or 7 when this movie came out, and I remember seeing it in the theater and be like, oh, well, like, they just put her on the water. You should know how to swim. The sleeping pills are really like some diabolical shit.
Like attempted murder.
Like, how many did they put in there? They put like the whole bottle in there. But like, also too, what an idiot move by her. Not only to say like, yeah, I'm kicking those kids to Switzerland, which is like, oh, that's not the worst idea, considering the fact one of them was kicked already to London, but all right. But then you're like, you're going to make a dad who loves his kids, and you can clearly see that.
Well, he loves one of his kids.
Well, to be fair, he's like, oh, whoa, I'm going to choose them or you. And it's like, that's never going to work for you.
They're identical. If you have one, you basically have them both.
Yeah, you got
the same experience. Like,
well, that is the thing too about this movie also is, and I got to say it, Lohan was an incredible find.
She rocks
she's
in this movie.
Incredible.
Do you know what Nancy said that she was trying to find Hallie and or an actress to play Hallie and Annie? She wanted to find, and let me quote this, a young, small, compact Diane Keaton. And that's what I found in Lindsay.
Perfect.
And
is that what she found? I don't know.
I don't know if she found that, but she found a talent who's really good in this. And also is able.
We want M. Night to cast her in a movie.
Yeah, she should be
for the perfect symmetry.
She should be Lady Raven.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
She would have been a better Lady Raven.
Oh, you think so?
Her and Hallie Mills in the same movie would have been amazing.
Oh, that would have been really good.
I know, it's what I'm saying.
Oh, like, yeah, she's like a psychic or something. Yeah.
That is just a ridiculous thing that M. Night Shyamalan did, was cast her because it was a movie about trapping a parent.
And I know, so that's what the whole.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
Jay, I don't think you give that movie credit. It's amazing. The movie
is fine.
The movie rules. It's still like one of the best.
The last act of that movie is like bad.
No, it's rules. I love it. I think that it's still in my top 10 of the year.
Anyway, that symmetry is amazing, and there's lots of little Easter eggs in that movie, as with casting.
But she's so great here at being able to distinguish between these two girls and give them both, like, really. I still got really emotional. I know that the dialogue's kind of clunky, and it takes them like 16 days in order to figure out that they're identical twins. But there is something about sincere about the fact that it is the same actress, but she's able to convey these two people, these two young girls finding their other half, essentially.
Oh, she brings all the emotion into this
Yeah.
crazy ass
It's just
plot. But
something, it's something about Nancy again, where it's just like, damn it, it works. And I can't explain it. It
well, can I
works.
just go back? I mean, Nancy tends to have a few extra acts in her movies, so,
Hell
but
yeah.
I like the last of the second to last act or whatever when Meredith Blake. I like the fact that she introduced that Meredith Blake knows who Natasha Richardson is,
Hmm.
because that becomes sort of an extra plot point that, oh, you can make my wedding dress, and it just brings them together even more.
Well, she's like this Reynolds Woodcock-esque wedding dressmaker now. You know what I
Maker.
mean? And he's Francis Ford Coppola
But
making all
she's
the
drunk and
wine and
can't make her
everything.
whole
Yeah,
get
no,
her life
exactly.
together.
Like she can make these meticulous dresses for all these people across the world and these decisions, but she can't face a guy that she hasn't seen in 10 years who fathered, you know,
Who
two,
she knew for like 5
yeah,
minutes.
Yeah,
that
but
was
even
like
then,
a
it feels like
child.
she's going to meet a crush, even though she's supposed to absolutely hate him.
No, she's
Yes.
looking like she's meeting like the
So
Loch Ness monster. Like she's terrified of him. She's so, and then
No,
she's
I
more
feel like
nervous
she's
about meeting
nervous.
him than seeing the child she hasn't
Yeah, that's
seen for
it's
11 years.
it's demented.
I love
It's
it. No, but
demented.
when like when Hallie tells her like all of it, and she's just like, no, it's all right, darling. I'll make it all work and everything. And then she gets there and she's just a fucking mess. But then he sees her and he's just all his confidence and everything, and then falling into the pool and all that. Oh, it's so funny.
But I do love that when she meets or Meredith meets, I think either one of the twins outside of the elevator, and you have the "Are you talking to me? Who are you?" Robert De Niro line. I think that was funny.
like a wink. It's like Nancy already laying breadcrumbs to her cinematic
For
universe for us
Robert,
talking
right?
about the intern. Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, damn it, Nancy, you were gonna get Bob to do that performance, didn't you? You're so smart, Nancy Meyers. God damn it. No, I mean, I think also too, a lot of this movie, while it is it is wild, like the premise. I weirdly do through the breadcrumbs of kind of putting it on together in my own mind and just by names and association and everything. I do feel that this movie is very personal in the way that she made it's very personal. She calls these two girls Hallie and Annie. Those are the names of her two children in real life. You're talking about the at the same time she's making this movie, deciding to make her directorial debut, she is also going through a divorce as well from Charles Shire at the same time.
I believe Hallie is in the movie.
Yes, she is in the film. I think
Like she's the girl who gets like shaving creamed.
yes, exactly. So
Oh, right.
it's very personal to her. And I think a lot of the conversations that Nick and Liz have are potentially some of the harsh conversations about her and Charles slowly slipping away from their marriage and falling out of love and arguments, and this is a movie of kind of wishful thinking and on her part of, well, my girls are losing their parents, and how can I try to put that back together for them in some sort of way, and that is to come up with the most convoluted bedtime story possible. And also there is this thing too, and you guys are more the parents than I do, but I just see this all the time. I saw this with my cousins and I saw this with just kids I grew up with, this idea of the movie speaks to about two parents taking these children away, and you guys can talk about how terrible that is, and it's a terrible thing that they do in this film, but it also speaks to, I think, parenting about the dangers of picking a favorite and how favoritism can happen like that. And it could literally feel like one parent has taken, even if they all live under one roof, it's like one kid is attached to the identity of one parent and the other kid is attached literally to the identity of another, and how sometimes children can feel lost in that world when it is then split apart. And so I think that the movie, while yes, it is very silly and we've been so chaotic at the beginning of this, as we kind of want to, as the movie does, I do also think that there is a sentimental thing and also purposeful thing. And Annie also is in the film as well. Um, She's not just Hallie Myers Shire, Jay, but also Annie is in the film there too. She's one of the girls at the camp. So they were both there. And I think that it was a very personal choice that Nancy made to make this movie.
It is a movie that only could have been written by two people in the process of splitting up, because it is, absolutely absurd. I will say this: the one thing I noticed almost immediately with the opening credits, which is the LOVE opening credits, right? I was like, this movie is far more elegant than it has to be. Which I think is true throughout the course of the film. Obviously, the settings, the houses and stuff are so gorgeous. I mean, just every set design, every costume, the wedding dresses and everything, it does kind of, there is a sense of escapism that matches the heightened plot of the story, which I think is part of what gives it a sense of weird equilibrium. Which I do like a lot. And it also is like, it's really cool just being at this incredible vineyard with these beautiful people, which is one of Nancy Meyers, greatest.
If only we got
tricks.
to spend a little bit more time in the kitchen, though, because man,
this is not a kitchen heavy movie.
No, it's a vineyard heavy movie, and that's okay. You know what I mean?
And also sort of the front room heavy movie. There is beautiful.
Both
of them gorgeous living rooms there. I mean, that's part of the delight of the Nancy Meyers movie, is just how magical and unrealistically gorgeous these people's houses are, which she hates talking about. Now, when I went back to read a bunch of interviews with her preparing for this, she really doesn't want to be associated to that interior design hashtag that's going on.
Well, I think
it's taken over her identity as a director.
Well, yeah, I mean, like that, it takes away, I think that those are just choices that she makes to make for identity of the characters and those settings.
So good at
she's so good at it. She's so good at making those things pop and making, but and they're so specific. But I can understand why Nancy would be angry about it. To draw the curtain back a little bit, a couple of months ago, I was in New York. I was at New York Film Festival. And I was at a critic screening and a Q&A for Pedro Almodovar's film, The Room Next Door. And I don't know if you've seen it, right, Christina? But Jay, you haven't watched it yet, correct? So, but you guys know that another person that is known for luscious production design is Pedro Almodovar, right?
Yeah, and his is way more stylized.
Yes, exactly. It's very stylized, and hers is realized. Very. Hers is also
comfy.
It's just comfy, but it also is like, it is over the top as well, like too.
It's over the top in a way that is recognizable. Like you're like, if I knew a millionaire, this is what their house would look like. Whereas with Almodovar, it's like, if I lived in Alice in Wonderland world, this is probably what it would.
So somebody asked Almodovar about the responsibility of and the privilege of making a movie with, that movie is about a woman who gets to, with the help of her friend, in her life early, and it's a very tough decision, but he basically called out the privilege of being able to do it and showing it in this like lavish set, this lavish location, and the responsibility of all that, and put it this weight on his shoulders, on Pedro's shoulders, of like answering the question of like, why are your characters wealthy? And I think that there has been this pushback from people of like, while she does make these comfort movies, she's being known for and we joke around with it, but she's being known for the kitchens and the interior design rather than the characters or the moments that, that other directors get to truly, rest their hat on, and I think that I could understand her wanting to step away from that, even though I think that stuff is what gets you in the door. And then surprisingly, these movies then move you to a way that can feel, from in other directors' hands, they can feel very cheap and very saccharine. And I think that they're very earnest the way she's able to handle emotions here. Because by the end, we've gone on this stupid fucking ride of a movie. And when when Quaid looks at Richardson and goes, I made the mistake of letting you go once, and I'm not going to let you go again. Very old Hollywood. She has these sensibilities, of it, that most people don't call back to classic Hollywood, and I think that that's they just fucking rule. It
There
makes
is
me
something
cry
very
a little.
zany, Cary Grant,
That's
Catherine Hepburn
Oh,
Hepburn.
kind of
Catherine
about
Hepburn,
it.
that's her
Yeah.
big thing. Yeah. Oh, but can I ask you one question? I mean, the Napa Valley house is just so incredibly gorgeous.
Mhm.
Why is he and Meredith getting married at that stupid hotel?
That's a
Well,
good
that's a good
question.
question.
But beyond it being, kind of a tackier looking hotel, they're playing like island music at the pool. I was
I
like, this is
know.
such
It's
a
like, and he
tacky
has
choice
this
for the
place.
music.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine them being in that vineyard, getting married and
Getting a
having
violinist,
yes, I mean, and also, how do you think that they rearrange their bi-coastal or bi-European American life now? It was such an issue those 5 minutes they were married after the Queen Mary or the boat marriage there that they had, and how who is someone moving to Napa Valley or
My guess
this?
is that they just give them to Chessie and Martin and have nothing to do with them anymore.
Yes, well they
And
basically do.
Well,
Jesse and Martin,
Jesse Martin get
Martin
married.
takes her.
Yeah.
Martin takes her to camp. He flies all over the world. I mean, they
Good for,
already have complete responsibility for them.
good for Martin though. Having to put up with this shit and this charade for years. And he's like, you know what? I'll go with you as your friend, but I'm going on vacation. And I'm also going to find the love of my life while I'm at it. And
I
I'm
get
not,
big
you
time
And
know,
wear
goosebumps
Speedos.
when Chessie realizes that
that it's Annie.
yeah.
Oh, when
Oh
she
man.
cries,
Goosebumps.
that's
Oh
so
my
nice.
gosh,
Yeah,
she plays that
That's
so
one of the
well.
best scenes in this movie
Yeah,
because
it
it's
is.
you talked about it, Jay, about the how many people had to keep up this lie, but also it's not their decision. Like these are members, quote unquote, members of the family, but they don't get to make that decision. Ultimately, they're the parents and they make their stupid, horrible decision. So being so close with everyone and especially Chessie and seeing those girls born and being torn apart, like to know that she's been with her this entire time and that he doesn't know it yet, but it's like, yeah, that must have been an absolute emotional wreck that she went through on that. And it's such a beautiful moment in the film. And
well,
yeah,
Jay, yeah, and you're so right because we actually do at someone need someone at that point who's emotional about this because it's a huge thing. Is she
Liz
the
is like
chef
so
or what is she?
she's the what
The something,
kind
the
of like
babe?
housekeeper, au pair, kind of. I don't know what her title would be.
she's kind of like, yeah, I mean, she's almost seems like a best friend. You know what I mean?
She has
Too,
Yeah,
no
but she's also
issues
she's
on
the
the
shit
house.
payroll.
talking.
She's on the payroll though
Yeah,
too, so
she's
it's
the
not like
housekeeper and she's Hallie's nanny, but she also knew Liz many years before because she goes like, I always knew I liked her, and so it always feels like she might have been an assistant that turned into a housekeeper, that turned into the nanny, that turned into the cook, that turned into like weirdly almost like a sister.
Well, she
Like,
has no issue shit talking the girlfriend to the child.
I mean,
true.
she's pretty much, again, not to throw another Phantom Thread reference, she's very Cyril Woodcock. You know what I mean? She's just like, I get to say and do whatever I want, and I got no responsibilities about it.
I
And
mean, that's
I'm
the
really the
Lisa
one.
Ann Walter energy. She's gonna
Yeah.
speak her mind.
Yeah, she's gonna, and also that's just like the Disney side character of it all too. It's like, yeah, you can get away with that. Like,
Sassy side character.
exactly. But she's great at it. And then like her and Martin, like when they're serving the soup or about to serve the fish or whatever, it's so silly, but it's so
Oh, when
cute.
they get pinned up against each other on the boat.
It's the hottest thing in the movie.
Oh
Mhm.
You know
man,
what I mean? You know what I mean?
fireworks.
Finally.
Oh my god. Yeah. But what do you guys think about, I mean, here's the thing that kind of drives me nuts about this movie. Is watching
Oh,
how
this is
great.
like the 75th thing that drives us crazy about this movie.
Well, this
that
is
we that we like.
yeah, that exactly. Well,
We
no, I
love
don't
it.
think we're gonna like this one. And Ryan's gonna take us down a different corner, but
Okay.
I think it's so sad watching this movie too, because from Lindsay Lohan's perspective, because of the fact that
Oh.
as an actress, because man, from the get go, she had it. And it's just the Disney machine, the way celebrity is to certain people. It's just, how it could engulf you. And
It's a perfect child performance.
it's a perfect child
which
performance. But
I
it's
can be
just-
so put off by kid
Oh,
performances. It can
Jay
just
hates
take
kid
me
performances
out.
if they're
Oh
wrong.
boy. This is a good one. What do you think is the greatest kid performance in a movie?
Ooh, damn. How much time do we have? That's
The
a tough.
Florida Project.
Oh, you think
It's a good one.
So good. Brooklyn Print.
I think Lohan's could be in the conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
I
think
think
Haley Joel Osment in The Sixth Sense is.
Oh,
I think
yes.
yeah, that's pretty goddamn good. Of recent memory, Woody Norman. Woody
throw out
Norman
some that
and
you think are awesome.
Woody Norman and Come On really wrecked me. I thought that was an incredible performance. Also, that kid is British and he has no business sounding that good in an American accent. Yeah,
Just like
well, I mean, her accent is
pretty good.
It's pretty good. It is what it is, though. I mean, like it's.
I see a comeback for her. I think that she's
Yeah.
in a better place. She had a child and she hasn't given the child to the father.
She's been doing
and
like
split them up.
the
I'm just kidding.
holiday movies, and now she's going to do Freaky Friday 2.
Oh yeah,
I
she's in
think
those awful Netflix.
But I think she could, if someone, M. Night brings her back.
Or somebody I think somebody could give her like
Anna Paquin in The Piano.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I think somebody could give her like what's going on with Pam Anderson and Last Showgirl, like give her a something for her with a little meat to it, and give her a little bit of a resurgence. People love a comeback story, I don't think she's a terrible actress. I think she just now, like you said, she went through a lot and now she's a mom and she's matured, and that Freaky Friday movie would probably be the worst thing that we've seen in a long time in terms of IP nostalgia, but it will be exactly what it is. And, but yeah, no, I think she's incredible here. And, Nancy said that she had to have an actress commit to it because she didn't want to cast another person. And she's like, I don't know how to do this with if the performer is not committed, and they went through so many people in the audition process. Some of them were like Michelle Trachtenberg, Jenna Malone, auditioned multiple times for this and was
Apparently
offered.
She turned it down
and then turned it down multiple times. A very young Scarlett Johansson was almost her, and then they found Lohan. And it worked out because she was great.
It was great. She's such a cute little kid too. My goodness.
That grandfather, though, I think about that grandfather a little bit. God, yeah, like just think about that old man.
But he's such a sweet.
He's such a sweet.
He's such a sweet grandfather.
You love him.
I love him, but again, you're just like, what a bastard! You've had this thing. You've been holding this back too. I expect.
I didn't in watching the film. I did not feel that way about him. But yes, when you bring it up, when you litigate it for 7 seconds, you're like, oh, he's a monster as well. That's interesting.
So what do we? So we assume then that what do we all assume then the reason behind this is? Because it seems like that it's such a stupid.
The reason behind it is because they could make a movie because it's the plot of the movie.
Because the plot of the movie, right? Because they're like.
Because they fall in love in 5 seconds again.
Yeah, I mean, like it sounds like we just didn't want to argue anymore, so we decided you take one and I'll take the other, and it's so selfish too. Because
I want to know about the legalities of it. I want to know about.
Can you imagine?
It doesn't seem like there's a lawyer
who's like, yes, this is a very good idea.
Man, I'm gonna make so much money hiding these facts for years. Like, good Lord, like there's no way legally that this would work at all. It feels like it doesn't even feel like a movie for the 90s. It feels like a movie with the plot of the 1960s, and we just put it in
remade.
No,
in
you couldn't.
Any way.
There's no way you could do this.
I meant to rewatch the original film. the plot of the original essentially identical? I can't recall.
I can't recall either. I
I
haven't
can't
seen it
recall
in
either.
such
I meant
a long
to I meant to
time.
rewatch it, but I didn't.
Wait, Mr. Completist didn't watch it?
I'll rewatch it afterwards and report back.
Okay, thank you very
I'll
much.
have
sir.
a 1961 Parent Trap corner on the What Women
Win
Want
one
episode.
Wait a minute, before we get into that one, let's just go back.
I
in
watched that
time.
movie a ton when I was a kid, though. The old
What, the
one.
original?
Yeah.
Why?
My mom is like all about like old stuff.
Oh, okay. Was she a big Little House on the Prairie?
Her favorite movie of all time is The Sound of Music.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Not to shade Miss Ledbetter. I'm not trying to.
That's a movie I haven't watched in a long time. Is that movie good?
Yeah, I haven't watched it in
Yes.
forever either.
I mean,
Like the legalities of that, like just taking your kids out of school to climb mountains to avoid the Nazis. Like that's what's the paperwork for that? You know what I
I
mean?
mean, the Hills are alive with The Sound of Music, though. We can't
They
deny
are, though.
that.
They got a heartbeat, and it's weird. Yeah, they are alive indeed.
I want to comment on the Richardson's fabulous Emma Thompson, Meg Ryan.
Oh my
haircut.
God,
I
she
mean, there's
looked
something.
she looked exactly like Emma Thompson in this movie when she's got the cigarette and the glasses on.
Yep.
And she's freaking out, right? Like, sorry, Christina, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go on.
No, but it is. It's like this whole all these actors, and Dennis Quaid was married to, I don't know if at this time, but at one point to Meg Ryan. I mean, the whole it's a very 90s situation going on.
Oh, very much so. Well,
He
she
would
was
have been, yes, he was married to Meg Ryan when this
Yeah.
movie.
and she was married to Liam Neeson.
He's on marriage number 4.
Yeah. Oh,
This is the one that's going to stick.
you think so?
I think
He's
so.
playing Ronald Reagan.
Did
in
he
Harvey
find his
and the
Nancy
Substance.
Reagan? Yeah. I
Yes.
was gonna say.
He
He's
found his
great.
Nancy.
He's great in The Substance.
He's so good.
I think he's so good in The Substance.
He has
So
the most.
good.
He actually is part of the most horrific scene of the year. It's got nothing
Eating
to do with
shrimp.
the eating shrimp is disgusting. It is horrific, and the sound
Well,
work on that is incredible.
Oh, the sound in that movie is
Yeah.
out of this world.
So
That's what my
amazing.
wife
So gross.
was like, I can't watch this anymore.
No, it's so.
And that was before the body horror. That was just him eating shrimp.
Oh, did she
the
go
worst
with you to it, or did she watch it?
No, I
home
watched
with
it at
you?
home.
Oh, but did she watch it with you the whole thing, or she was out after?
She was in the room the whole time the movie was on. Did she watch it? That's a relative term.
What did she think of the ending? Did she see the ending?
She did see the ending and she was like, you need to tell me if movies are like this before we start them. Like, you need to give me a sense of kind of what I'm in for.
Was the kid asleep?
Oh no, the 2-year-old watched all of it. I mean, you gotta get him. We're getting into Cronenberg now.
He actually has a review up at awardswatch.com right now.
But it's
trying
kind of
to-
a good trajectory for the father here, for Nick, to go from giving up one of his children without issue to becoming Harvey and the Substance.
God, he just, you know,
It could be the same character.
It is. That's what I'm saying.
he grew up to be just a complete like asshole as his girls have grown up. No, I mean, like, we talked about this weirdly sometime before. I don't know, maybe it was off mic or something. It definitely wasn't on one of these episodes. It was off mic, about Quaid. He's such a weird. This is his golden era, wouldn't you say? Like, this is like the last kind of like,
I guess
got-
you'd have to say so.
he's got like the Parent Trap, and then this is when he has like,
He's in Traffic.
he's in Traffic, he's in The Rookie, he's got The Day After Tomorrow, In Good Company, Flight of the
When is
Phoenix.
The Rookie?
The Rookie's the one where he's the baseball guy.
No, I know it. When was that?
2002.
Yeah, I watched
he-
that movie so much.
He's like in the night in the.
Far From Heaven. He's so good in that.
When did he stop being good? When did he stop making good choices?
I mean, I'm looking at it here. It
Seems like-
seems to be
Seems like to be 2004.
essentially after, Day After Tomorrow, Flight of the Phoenix, and then he just kind of stopped getting big roles.
Yeah, because he is like, because when seeing him in The Substance, it's like,
Mhm.
where has this dude been?
I actually think he's always been a pretty good presence on screen.
Yeah, he's just been in a lot
yeah.
of shit. And now,
Yeah.
but then I say that, and he's also Ronald Reagan this year in Reagan.
Should I watch that?
I haven't seen it either. Should we watch it?
We might. Who directed
Guys.
that? Let's do that series.
God damn it.
Sean McNamara. He's directed like 40 movies. He directed the Even Stevens movie.
He directed the Bratz movie in 2007. Oh shit! Well, it looks like we got our next series. Christina, we're gonna have to get you on for that.
All right.
Cats and Dogs 3,
Into the Blue 2.
Pause Unite.
Man, this is tough.
This is rough.
That I want to do Pause Unite.
I better that guy better have like got the check and it better have cleared.
Bring
because
It On,
shit.
Fight to the Finish.
Holy shit! Some of this is rough. If people out there,
He directed the 5th Bring It On movie.
The 5th. Oh my god. Well, he's got a movie called Sister Swap.
And you think Cats
Probably
and
good.
Dogs 3 Pause Unite kind of is like this one where the two twins unite at the end, but they're dogs and cats.
Yeah, but it's got kind of like a libertarian bent to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like it's an alternative
it's
choice.
Political.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
it's like the modern day Animal Farm.
Yeah, it's actually going to take
sort of
over
what
the
he's going
Department of Health and Human Services. It's a really good game plan.
You know the thing about right?
You know the thing about the dialogue, it gets to be a real earworm. You know what I mean? When you're done with it and all. Anyway, no, he's also done like this thing. It's a Hallmark movie called Sister Swap. It's a 2-parter. And
John Voight is in Reagan. Shocking.
That's
I wonder if he's as good in that as he is in Megalopolis. Jay, have you seen Megalopolis yet?
I have not seen Megalopolis.
Oh, you have to see Megalopolis.
Oh my God, Jay, how have you not watched Megalopolis yet?
I know. I talked about it for months and months and months, and I still haven't seen
months. I would talk about years. You've talked about it at
Yeah.
this point. It feels like, my God. Oh my God. Well, Dennis Quaid.
He's good in this. He's very
great.
charming, so handsome.
He's like when you see him when she comes off the plane, it's like, oh my God. He's like everybody's dad at that point. You're like, oh my God, yeah, I get it. I get why Meredith's being a bitch. She just wants this guy. Yeah, he's so daddy in this movie. It's ridiculous.
And it's so sad about Natasha Richardson, of course.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Imagine what
I know.
All the films she would have done and
then she wouldn't have had to be around to hear Liam Neeson's comments. That would have been, some
maybe they wouldn't have happened.
No, exactly.
And probably not. God, that was wild stuff. No, but
he wouldn't have been so depressed
yeah, I think so. I think or gone down whatever goddamn rabbit hole he's been going down with all these action movies since she's passed. Like we lost a really good actor in Liam Neeson. It feels like to the Takens of the world.
He'll still do some stuff that's
like he'll come
awesome
and do
every now and then.
Like when he was in Silence and he just came in for those couple of scenes and he's so good. But then it's just like, oh, okay, you're a good actor. But then he's like, yeah, I'll see you later. I'm gonna go away. Or when he was in Widows, he's pretty good in that too. But no, she's great in this movie, and you kind of wonder why she wasn't bigger, or she didn't catch on more after this. It feels like of the Nancy movies, this is the one where you look at these other films and that we're going to talk about, Jay. It feels like the one where all the ingredients were perfect at this time, and I don't know if it would have ever formed back together down the road for any other entity of it. Like these are just perfectly cast, perfect situation, perfectly timed with Lohan coming in here doing this. And you just buy into this damn charm of this movie. And
really, the casting of the kid is what makes or breaks this movie.
And I think that's what makes
hit a home run.
I think that's what, because the movie was made on a $15 million budget and made 92. That's pretty good. That's 4 times more.
It's good. It's not a mega super hit though.
Now I bet you this did really well on video.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I bet you kid. I bet you it did so well.
Clamshell case. Come on now.
Can hear the ocean with that thing from the Elizabeth II or whatever. But yeah, no, I think that this is just.
Can I ask you guys in terms of great camp movies, where do you see this one?
Oh man.
Oh, like going to camp?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, there's
I mean,
Wet Hot.
growing up, a big one for me was Heavyweights, a film I had a great time with. Ben Stiller is absolutely out of his mind in that movie.
Well, Wet Hot American Summer is like the answer, I think. I know Jay doesn't like this movie, but I like
Adam's Family has a really good camp.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know
One
Jay
of my
doesn't like this
favorites.
movie, but I like Moonrise Kingdom a
Oh,
lot.
me too.
Yeah, you can have that one. Theater Camp a couple years ago was very good, or last
was
year, I
real-
think.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was
Oh,
amazing.
that's a
good.
really good one. Yeah. Oh, there's not many. There should be more. But I'm oh God.
I just looked up camp movies. One of them listed is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. I think
Oh
that's
my
a different
God.
kind of camp.
That's
Yeah.
another, a
Yeah.
whole nother
Oh
level
boy.
there.
All right, Jay, don't go down that rabbit hole. Well, I know like But I'm a Cheerleader. That's a great film. It's a great comedy. Yeah, I think that we put it up there. Yeah, I'm looking at some of these choices. It's not appropriate. I'm not going to bring them up. Um, it's they literally took the literal definition. This is God. Okay. I got to get off to this. Yeah, I would say
Holes. Is that a camp? Does that count as a camp?
sure.
Sort of like a juvenile.
Meatballs. Have you ever seen
detention
Meatballs
camp?
with Bill Murray many years ago? It's a good movie. Yeah, Holes, I guess, counts.
That's a great film. Saw that one at a birthday party.
You saw Holes at a birthday party?
Big time.
This was okay. This is the other thing I got to bring up. This was a big time in the late 90s, early 2000s for the Disney adult, like, like live action. Really what a live action movie is, not these
Oh,
live action remakes.
this was so fun. Like Princess Diaries, like so many fun.
And then there was the sports movies. There's Remember the Titans. There's Miracle,
Miracle,
Rookie. Yeah. I mean, there was the Bruce Willis movie, The Kid,
The
which
Kid.
which is
I
one
watched
of
that
the
so much when I was younger.
so much because it was just like
Spencer
okay,
Breslin,
yeah, it was Bruce Willie,
Willie.
But yeah, no, like they had like this sort of run where they weren't making a lot of animated movies and they made a lot of movies. They kind of went back to what they were doing in the 60s and the 70s and making these little hits
But they're like real movies.
yeah, they're really good. Most of those are really good movies that we mentioned. And they're
With great casts.
well, I mean, I guess the biggest one out of all of them is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, I mean, well, that movie's
The
just
Curse of the Black Pearl. I mean,
all-time banger.
Say what
Saw
you want
that
about
on the Disney cruise.
Did you watch that on the Disney cruise?
They played it on the cruise at night.
Oh man, that's so
on the
good.
giant
Christina,
poolside screen.
Do you like Pirates of the Caribbean? Have you seen that?
I've seen it. I mean, I haven't seen it in years, but it's okay.
It's such a good movie. Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, like say what you want about its lead, but that movie rules. From a practical effects meets just aesthetic quality.
Johnny Depp do something?
Jay.
You haven't heard?
Jay, have you not heard? Oh,
all right, I'll look it up later.
Oh, I don't think you want to. I don't think the search engine allows that.
The Straight Story was a Disney movie.
We watched Hocus Pocus over Halloween.
Sorry. I had to. Sorry.
You've opened a rabbit hole.
Christina, do you know?
Talking about 90s movies.
Do you know about Christina
Love a rabbit hole?
The Hocus Pocus rabbit hole?
No, but I love one, so go for it.
I think Hocus Pocus is the movie I've seen the most times in my entire life because my wife loves it, and we watch it like 4 times every October, and I resent it so much.
The fact that like Christina brought it up so casually, and she meant it very earnestly. It was a very Nancy move. She meant it very earnestly.
A couple people, Ryan, Sophia, they know my relationship with
all I'm going to say is I'll say this again. If
my favorite character in the movie is named Jay.
Yes, you've said that before, and I will reiterate to everyone out there: if you have a Letterboxd account at Mr. J Ledbetter on Letterboxd, right, or just J Ledbetter on Letterboxd.
J Ledbetter on Letterboxd.
And if you go and just look up in the last couple months his review of Hocus Pocus, or just type in Hocus Pocus and find Jay, you will see his review of the film. His 7 or 8 reviews from the last couple of years, and start from the bottom and go all the way to the top. It is one of the best Letterboxd journeys you'll ever go on. It is of a man slowly crumbling while watching Bette Midler.
It is a little bit of
Play a watch.
Stockholm syndrome has developed as far as that movie is concerned, where I'm like, I know the rhythms of this movie that I don't like so well that it's become weirdly comforting. So things are going great. Marriage is thriving.
Jay, blink if you need help. Just blink at the screen right now if you need help.
Currently looking at every Disney movie that was made.
Okay. Oh, are you going to tell us?
There's a lot more junk than I remembered.
Oh, okay.
Like Max Keeble's Big Move.
Oh, I remember that one. Oh my God.
See, your
Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget, of course.
Christina, did you go see a lot of these Disney movies at the time?
The 90s wasn't so much Disney for me, but I've seen them. I mean, like, it's a lot of, I realize that there's a lot of things around the holidays that we still watch, like Nightmare Before Christmas we just watched for Halloween.
Is that a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie?
For us, it's a Halloween movie. We want to start early.
Is that controversial? No.
Apparently.
Is it? I don't know. Like, I never know. Like, I think
it's
people watch it at
for
both.
splitting up the kids, Ryan.
Oh my God.
We were on the Disney cruise during Halloween and they played it on the cruise. So
what the hell?
So
I would say Disney considers it a Halloween film.
What movies?
I mean, songs are all Halloween related.
What movies didn't they play on the Disney cruise that you wish, Jay?
That I wish they had played?
Well, yeah, your favorite, right?
Well, they absolutely should have played The Straight Story. The kids would have eaten that up.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, that some of the more problematic ones.
Song of the South.
Song of the South, obviously Jungle Book. You know what I mean? Jay's a big fan of Song of the South. He's actually got the t-shirt behind.
We did a full rewatch of every Disney animated movie during the pandemic.
Did you skip that one? Well, I guess that's not
that was not available.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, but that hasn't stopped you. That hasn't stopped you before from pirating a movie.
I have a copy of it. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's actually a 4K.
I've got it. I've got the one 4K copy. Some of those old Disney movies are like crazy.
Christina, do you have a favorite Disney movie?
Oh my God.
Animated? Are we going to do animated?
Animated or live? I mean, let's do both. Live action and then animated. Yeah, you can do. Because I would say live action, it's probably Pirates. And then for animated, I would say Beauty and the Beast. But does Pixar count?
Are we counting Pixar?
Not
yeah,
Pixar.
exactly.
No, Pixar is his own thing. Pixar, it would be The Incredibles or Ratatouille.
Ratatouille for me.
Ratatouille.
Yeah. I love me some Brad Bird.
I mean, my favorite is Lion King. It's the basic choice, but
well,
whatever.
Get a Lion
I grew
King.
up with some of those awesome 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Seen that one? That one's awesome. Kirk Douglas, James Mason.
When you mean Lion King, you mean the 2019 Jon Favreau one, correct?
That Mufasa movie is coming out in like 2 weeks, and I am seeing no promo for it.
Well,
yeah, that's weird.
And it's directed by Barry Jenkins, and
it sure is.
I feel bad. No, it comes out in like Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah, whatever. 3 weeks, a month.
Okay.
Whatever. I'm seeing nothing about it. I've seen Wicked promo.
Ugh.
And trust me, I've been holding space for it for like 8 months.
God damn it, Jay. No, I mean, like they just released a new trailer this week for Mufasa, so I'm looking forward to
my eyeballs.
Well, I actually might pay for a movie ticket for that one, just to help Barry. I want him to succeed. Not John M. Chu.
Is
don't.
Anyway, Parent Trap.
Christina, did you see Wicked?
Yes.
Did you like it?
No, I mean,
good. Good. No, that's all you need to say. Good.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it.
No.
Okay, you don't want me.
I haven't seen it. I'm holding space for it.
You're holding space
to be seen later. Yeah,
to be seen later in your living room rather than at a
when
theater.
I feel like it's my time to watch it.
What did you guys think of the whole like people singing in the theater? I
Well,
was
the taking pictures of the screen and
Or the
at end
pictures.
is
Yeah, that's tough.
incredibly.
didn't think that Alamo Drafthouse would also get dunked on in the process for commenting. on it.
Honestly, shout out to the person that dunked on Alamo Drafthouse. That was valid.
I mean, it is like a corporate entity that is owned by the studios now.
No, I know,
that.
but what does like
What's the
Alamo
value of that?
Drafthouse? Obviously,
Well, their
they
policy.
do their whole like no cell phone things, but then they
Yeah.
have people walking through the aisles of the theater with flashlights the whole time.
No, they don't have flashlights. They don't have.
Well, they have
flashlights.
lights on They have bright lights on the floor.
No, they're not bright. They're just
But you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. They just
They
bring
have
in. They're bringing
built-in-
food.
They have
Yeah.
built-in distractions.
They have their own, but I know. To be fair, also you don't have to order anything if you don't want anything.
Yeah, but then if somebody
Um,
next to you orders something, you're
Exactly.
Yeah. Excuse me. Let me drop off your guacamole dip. But no, I mean, it was very valid, but also it's just like, stop taking photos, stop singing in the fucking movie. If you want to do that, wait to go at home or wait for the sing-alongs that are coming.
Do
the
a
sing-along.
screening.
Act like a
Sing-along is fine.
yeah. Act like a real adult that paid money for a ticket, and because you're not singing in any other movie this year, though I cannot wait for the sing-along screenings for Amelia Perez. I think that would be.
I would argue if you're singing Defying Gravity, you're not holding space for the lyrics, which
No.
I think is a problem.
It is.
How many times are you going to make the joke?
That video is so funny.
It is.
I think that
am
whole
obsessed with that video.
I think that whole
The
press
whole
tour
press tour, right?
has been okay. I think they should get Oscar nominations for the press tour because they have been doing better acting and crying in the press
the
tour than
emotions are
in the
just-
film. Like, it's so over the top. It's so phony theater kid shit. It just has been driving me nuts that people are like, oh my God, they cried in the interview I gave them. I'm like, they're also actors. Ding dong. Come on. Like, if you can't see through all of this, like, it's a person that's got, one of them is a Oscar nominated thespian from Broadway also, and the other has 357 million Instagram followers.
I
Like,
didn't
of course
realize
they're very
quite
manipulative.
how famous Ariana Grande is.
She is huge.
She is astoundingly famous.
Where have you been?
Well,
I just didn't know the
he's been holding
full
space over here. What do you-
Yeah,
you know?
apparently.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
holding
he-
space for a long
I mean, I knew she
time.
was huge, but I didn't realize just
is she like one of the
how huge.
biggest stars we have? Like, or
Well,
pop
if they
stars?
get her and Selena Gomez at the Oscars,
Yeah,
it's gonna
they're
be a pretty
fight
big-
to the death. Seems like, you know what I mean? I don't
Selena
want.
Gomez doesn't even do that much stuff.
Well, she does do a television show every year, but she's like the third bill on that television
Yeah,
show.
and she doesn't do a ton of music, and
No,
her
she's-
music isn't nearly as popular as Ariana Grande's music.
No, Ariana Grande is like, or Ariana Grande, and not Ariana. She's like on Taylor Swift level, right?
No,
Well, no, I guess like in terms of
No one is on.
no, probably like what would be the equivalent of her? She's on just her own.
Dua Lipa.
No, I think she's bigger than Dua Lipa. Though structurally, Dua Lipa is taller than her.
That's
So,
true. Most
that is
people
true.
are.
Most people, oh my God, Dua Lipa, very important person. I send way too much Dua Lipa stuff to Jay. It's
Ryan's been sending.
her dancing on this tour. She's been great. Just a lot
Yeah,
of good
Dua.
content.
I'm getting look.
He's-
I mean, I'm not complaining, but I have been getting a steady flow of
Dua Lipa,
Dua Lipa
content.
videos from Ryan.
You're welcome,
Can you
buddy.
imagine the songs that'll be at the Oscar, the Amelia Perez vaginoplasty song, if they would do that one?
Jay, do you know about that song?
I have seen the clip on Twitter. I still have not seen the movie.
Wait, you watched
That-
the clip?
Well, I came across it. I didn't mean, I didn't.
God damn it!
I wish I
wanted
had seen
your
it for the
surprise.
first time.
Yeah, I know. I want your
Yeah.
surprise reaction. It's been on Netflix for like 2 weeks. Please,
Yeah.
Jay, go and watch it. I
I
need
know.
to.
I need to watch it.
I need
We'll
to
do
know
that one
this-
and then Defying Gravity and then
I'm
Oh,
holding space for the vaginoplasty.
God damn it! God
song.
damn it! This
that
holding
number
space.
would be amazing.
That holding space thing is literally an SNL skit.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
It's you're
I
giving.
don't know,
You're
being
thinking.
open
I-
for it, or
I think you're thinking about it, right? You're. It's present within the mind, right?
present, bringing it in somehow.
Yeah. Jay's like broken. I think we broke
I
Jay.
I hate
Let's
so
bring it
many
back.
things.
Well,
Is
no
it-
one
bring it
knows
back.
what it means. That's the point, isn't it?
Yeah,
But it
that's
gets
true.
the people going.
It gets the people. God damn it.
Mhm.
Any final thoughts you guys have on The Parent Trap?
Good movie, fun.
Okay. Christina, any final thoughts you have on
Yes.
the
Very good movie, also incredibly infuriating. And I want to see I want to see what happens to this family. If they would do a new Parent Trap, can we please see what happened after this?
What do you
they,
think?
they break up?
What
They break up 5 months
immediately,
after this.
right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then what
guys.
happens to the kids?
Well, yeah. What do they grow like? Okay, let's say that you guys, the pessimism that you two just spread right there isn't true. And they do actually figure, like, how is the logistics? What do you think is the compromise?
See, that's what I'm wondering.
Well,
too.
the vineyard is not mobile. Her fashion line is mobile. So I would think they would have to move to California.
Are they moving the
You can
grandfather
see
with
the
them?
grandfather, yeah, who has his little very British room there and his pipe and he's going to Napa Valley.
Yeah, I think he could. I think Jesse would make him some chili, and I think he would be totally happy out there. He would be like, I know how to
Jesse makes
stump.
huge breakfasts.
Yeah, that was some huge
does.
food. I was like, damn, that girl is never gonna finish any of that. It's just a waste of food. Damn it, but it looked good.
Christina,
I
you
think-
got a favorite Nancy?
Yeah, do you have a favorite, Nancy?
Oh, I really like the intern.
Oh, the intern.
Yeah. How about you?
Oh, we're not gonna say just yet. Unless Jay,
oh.
unless Jay, you want to say up front what going into the series your favorite is.
My favorite was that Father of the Bride 3 Zoom thing that they did over COVID.
Son of a bitch.
I actually saw that.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was interesting.
They got
They
the
did
whole
one
gang
for
together.
this as well. They did
did they?
they reunited they did like a reunion thing with Katie Couric for The Parent Trap. I just watched that ahead of
Really?
this.
With Dennis Quaid?
Yep, he was there.
Lindsay
He
Lohan?
was the one who did all the auditions with Lindsay Lohan or the screen tests.
Oh, wow. Well, that's sad.
It's crazy that she hasn't made a movie in 10 years and her daughter just had a movie that came out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I keep forgetting.
And the
that her-
other daughter, or the daughter is renovating her house on Instagram, which seems very fitting for Nancy Meyers' daughter.
I mean, yeah, I think I mentioned this in one of our Kozlowski episodes, maybe, or when we were announcing the Nancy Meyers series. I've been looking for stuff to read, like Nancy Meyers critical writing. And I just Amazon, you go Nancy Meyers book. It's all interior design
it's all,
stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything. And every essay and everything. I was the same.
Well,
It's crazy.
I keep forgetting that her daughter directed that Michael Keaton movie this year.
Goodrich.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say Beetlejuice, but yes, let's go with Goodrich.
Goodrich, I haven't seen it. Looked
Fine.
charming.
Yeah. It
I
was.
bet that would make me feel
Well, it was charming until I saw
it's about a bad dad.
saw the person opposite Keaton in that film.
Kunis?
Yeah, it's Kunis.
What's wrong with Kunis?
I'm out on Kunis.
Mm.
She's gonna be in the Knives Out movie too. I'm out. I don't know.
How about Something Gotta Give?
I mean, a
that's-
great film.
That's
Yep.
my favorite.
Yeah.
That's my favorite, but I don't know if it's gonna change or not. I don't want to get too far ahead of here.
I mean, it is crazy that she's only made 6 movies.
They are the most rewatchable films, though,
Mhm.
that you can
True.
have just to cheer yourself up. They really are. And one of them is my go-to watch on a plane. And I will say that when that episode happens.
How many
Yes.
movies has Spike Jones made?
3. No, 4. 4. 4.
Or
Being John Malkovich, adaptation, Where the Wild Things Are, her.
And they started making movies basically. They started directing movies at the same time. So
True, but she's also been like writing. Writing.
No, I know. But it's just
She's been
they haven't made that many movies.
I don't understand why no one has thought, hey, I'm at a studio. Let me get Nancy $100 million. I'm sure she could turn it into 3 or 4. I think she could. With the right people involved. She knows hot cast. She knows hot people.
Oh, really?
I think she could do Dune Messiah.
Oh my God, the kitchen's in Dune, so we can finally find out, Jay, what they eat in Dune. Oh, Christina, this has been my number one pet peeve about Dune is not knowing what the fuck they eat on Arrakis. Oh my God, it's been killing me. I've been
You're
thinking,
up at night.
I've been up at night.
Yeah.
I've been like doing the math on the board. Yeah, I can't. This movie.
Imagine Chessie there in Arrakis.
Yeah. Oh my God, Chessie making. I have a sand pie for y'all. No, I love this movie. I think it's great.
Who's your favorite? Oh, maybe you guys don't want to talk about that ahead of the series. I was just thinking the character or actor in a Nancy Meyers.
Ooh.
It's like a Diane Keaton.
Here's a
movie I don't even like. Jude Law, Mr. Napkinhead.
No, Mr. Here's actually a really good question for you, Christina. And I'm going to ask this to everybody going forward. Nancy doesn't have a film out, obviously, and we're talking about that she hasn't had a film in 10 years. If there was one actor still currently working, be young, could be old, who do you want Nancy to work with? Because clearly she can work with anybody and get great.
You mean someone she hasn't worked with before?
Yeah, hasn't worked with before.
Oh my God.
That you would love to see her work with.
Ryan, you know who I think?
Who, Jay?
Caviezel.
God damn it.
Jim Caviezel.
Why do you say that, Jay?
I just think he's gotten a bad rap.
Do you think he could be like a Keanu and Something's Got to Give and just be like really?
Oh man, how charming is that?
Oh, that would be really good. Man. That would be good for the image, right?
Actually, I want to come up with like an actual answer.
Oh, is that your answer?
Powell's a great answer.
That's a great answer.
Yeah,
because like that anybody but us, right? Like that's a Nancy
anyone
Meyers.
But you.
Anyone but you. Sorry.
Bad movie.
Bad movie because it doesn't have somebody like Nancy at the helm of it to write it.
With Nancy at the helm.
It's a good idea. It's got the right male actor. But Sydney Sweeney is what brings that movie down. Now she doesn't have the goods.
Ryan, you're saying that out loud. You're not allowed to say that.
Yeah,
Jennifer Lawrence.
Ooh, Lawrence would be good.
Maybe
she's funny.
She needs a comeback.
Trying to think of somebody.
Colin Farrell.
Could you imagine how hot Colin Farrell would be in a kitchen? Oh my God, that's really good, Jay. That's really good. I feel like Idris Elba would be good with her. Get another side of Idris you'd never see. You know what I mean? That's the other thing too. It's like you watch De Niro in The Intern, right? You don't think like De Niro's going to give that kind of performance. So like maybe it's somebody against type, somebody that's, oh man.
Clint Eastwood.
Josh Brolin.
94-year-old Clint Eastwood.
Oh, Josh
Brolin feels like he could have done Nancy Meyers movies.
He could have easily. Costner?
Oh God, no.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. The Cos?
No.
This is how Horizon 3 gets made, guys. It turns into a romantic comedy. I mean, obviously, like, I don't know, just any good actor.
I know who I'd love.
Kind of crazy that Tom Hanks was never in
one.
Daniel Craig would be good.
Daniel Craig would be good.
I think.
Thinking about and Leslie Manville. Wouldn't she be?
You're just saying. You just want the queer cast.
Queer cast. I came to think of her because I thought of the queer cast and Daniel Craig. But wouldn't she be amazing?
I would love to see Emma Stone kind of go back to that energy.
Oh, boy.
I think she would be awesome.
Oh, that's a good idea too.
Sophia would not like that. I know that for a fact. She's very anti Emma Stone.
I love Emma Stone.
Me too.
You're a big Stonehead?
Mm-hmm. I'm a stoner.
Amy Adams. I think Amy Adams.
Yes, she would.
I think Amy Adams needs Nancy Meyers.
That's the best one.
I think
Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds.
No.
But Jay, don't you think like because you used to be the number one Amy stan? Don't you think
she was my number one?
Don't you think her working with Nancy would be like
That's the
perfect
best one.
I
marriage?
think that would be perfect.
Yeah, like her and Caviezel.
I just want the best for
And
Amy.
Glenn Close.
I
Hillbilly
hate-
Oh yeah,
elegy, Nancy
Just-
Meyers stuff.
What about JD Vance?
I think Adam Driver would be pretty good with her too.
Adam Driver would be good in anything.
He just needs to work with
Yeah.
a female director for Christ's sake, because he doesn't.
You know
work
who'd be
with
good?
Who?
Alden Ehrenreich.
Ooh,
He would be good.
I like.
Okay.
All right, Saoirse.
Let's just name our favorite
Yeah,
actors.
now we're just
Um,
naming actors with no particular.
You know who I don't want to see with Nancy Meyers?
JD
And
Vance.
I'm completely out. I'm saying it right now.
Donald Trump.
Margot Robbie. Don't want to see it.
She's
No.
never really done a movie like that.
Mm-mm.
No, but like she wanted to produce it and put her spin on it. And
Oh,
I
you
just-
think she's a control freak now?
well, yeah, she's a big time producer.
She is. But she didn't control Barbie.
Yeah, but
She's great in Barbie.
she
She's
is.
so good, Barbara.
But I don't know. Something
Anti
about-
Margot.
I don't think she could do it. I don't think she could work with Nancy. I don't think she works on that speed.
Do you have a problem with women producing films around?
No, what is this? Where's
No,
this
I just
coming
think that
from?
I just think that also too, like
We can't have two women in
no,
charge of a
I just
movie.
don't
That would
think
be
no, that's not what I said because I said that Amy Adams would be perfect and she just worked
I
with
I know what
Harry-
you said,
Harry
but
Heller. Yeah, wait, is this the internet now? But no, I don't know. I think also too, like
We're holding space for you, Ryan.
her collaboration was with Jay's favorite person, Emerald Fennell. So in that Wuthering Heights film,
Oh.
everybody's so happy about that. So I just
Stoked.
yeah. And she's making the Sims movie, so she's a little busy.
Wait, she's doing a Sims movie?
yeah, she's
Yep.
doing a Sims movie, buddy. Yeah, I want to eat some crow now.
Who's helming that one?
Nancy Meyers.
Oh God, would see though, would see easily. I don't care if Nancy got into
Well, Nancy would be
IP.
in it. It's
I mean, this is IP.
it is
the movie
IP.
that she's
done
making-
a lot
It's
of IP.
She's done a lot of IP, but she puts her own spin on it.
The intern was a Marvel character, correct?
DCJ, DC. All right, Jay.
Yes.
Before we get out of here, we're gonna test your award season knowledge based on the film we just reviewed, which is The Parent Trap. In a segment we like to call It's an Honor to Get Nominated. Jay, Parent Trap, really beloved. Nancy, everybody loves Nancy. Was this nominated for anything?
I don't think so. I'm going to go with 0 Oscar nominations.
Christina, is that correct?
I think I'm going with 0 Oscar nominations as well.
That is correct, folks.
All right.
Parent Trap was not really nominated for anything outside of one thing that's on its IMDb page and on its Wikipedia. It was nominated for Best Family Feature Comedy at the Youth in Film Awards. And
Well, that's
whatever
huge. It didn't even get a Kids' Choice Award nom?
didn't even get Golden Globe,
Wow.
which you kind of think like it could have, but no. Yeah, sadly, not in the
Did the Kids' Choice Awards exist at this time?
yes, and I believe Critics' Choice existed at this time as well too.
But the
And
thing
but
about Kids'
know
Choice is that's Nickelodeon. They probably didn't want to reward Disney.
Disney, yeah,
Mhm.
and also I don't know if Critics' Choice had the Rising Star Up and Comer Award just yet, if they just started in their existence. So, yeah, folks, Nancy, not necessarily.
I think Lindsay deserved a blimp.
Oh, you think she deserved a blimp? Okay.
She deserved a blimp. She deserved to get slimed.
This was the year in 1998, the films of 1998. Best picture was Shakespeare in Love.
Mm-hmm.
The other nominees were Elizabeth, Life is Beautiful, Saving Private Ryan, and The Thin Red Line. We talked about this on the episode for The Thin Red Line, Jay.
Yeah, that makes sense that the Thin Red Line didn't win.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, because the Oscars are dumb.
Well, Jay's a big Life is Beautiful fan.
Never seen it.
That's your movie?
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Never seen it?
Mm-mm.
It's a camp movie.
I can't believe what I was going to say. Oh,
Yeah, sorry, bad joke.
oh,
Sorry,
bad,
bad joke.
bad taste.
That bad taste. Well, he mentioned the striped pajamas earlier. That's just bad. Well,
That
that
was so
movie
funny
does
when that showed
technically.
up.
Well, that technically does try to make a comedy out of the whole thing too. If you
Mhm.
We love that little Jojo Rabbit action.
Yeah, no,
Right.
Would
It's
you
a
guys
mundane.
nominate this in any categories at all?
Give me the lead actress nominees.
Sure, buddy. So this is Gwyneth Paltrow,
Mhm.
who won for Shakespeare in Love.
Of course.
This is Fernanda Montenegro for Central Station, Meryl Streep for One True Thing, Carl Franklin,
Yep.
Emily Watson for Hillary and Jackie, and Kate Blanchett for Elizabeth.
Mm. Haven't seen several of those either.
So who would you put in lead actress?
Lindsay.
Lindsay? Okay.
Mm.
Well, no, I didn't know. Hey,
Lindsay.
you guys know how award season goes. The kids always get put in supporting, even if they're the lead. Jacob Tremblay in Room, and then the adults are put in the lead categories.
But this one is undeniable. You
Oh, no, for
cannot
sure.
put-
Yeah, there's
No.
no way.
No, I know, but you know how these people, you know how the PR teams work. You know, I'm just saying that's how it works. But I just wanted to clarify because people might want to ask that question. That's all. Who would you replace her with?
Ryan, who's the worst one of those, assuming you've seen all of them?
Probably Kate Blanchett and Elizabeth.
All right, get her out of there. Lindsay Lohan, you're in.
Those are really
Switched.
those Elizabeth movies are terrible. I love Kate to death, but those movies they're bad. And then I mean I don't care much about Paltrow. Montenegro's pretty good in Central Station. Streep is good in
She's
One True
really
Thing.
good in that.
And Emily Watson's just Emily Watson. She's always good in everything. So that's not.
We should start some sort of hashtag where we switch Blanchett for Lohan and see how far that goes.
Oh, Kate Blanchett. Lindsay Lohan and Tar.
Mhm.
Yeah. Would you guys nominate this in screenplay, adapted screenplay?
No. Again, demented movie.
Gods and Monsters
No,
won.
I can't see myself nominating this anywhere else.
So the
really.
nominees were Gods and Monsters won,
Production design?
Out of Sight, Primary Colors, A Simple Plan, and The Thin Red Line were the screenplay nominees.
Jay's immediately switching out a Thin Red Line.
I don't know. That's kind of a pretty good lineup.
That's a good lineup.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
lineup.
Gods and Monsters is a good
I'm not
movie, even
changing.
if Bill Condon wrote and directed. Production design. You guys said production design?
I mean, it looked like they were
What
mostly
is the
using
lineup?
pre-existing.
So the lineup
But
was
probably not, actually.
Shakespeare in Love was the winner. You got
Mhm.
Elizabeth, Pleasantville, yeah.
Good design.
Saving Private Ryan.
Great design.
Mhm.
What Dreams May Come.
Haven't seen it.
What
So
Dreams
since
May
I haven't
Come?
seen it, get it out of here.
What is
Okay, that's the Robin Williams in the Afterlife Cuba Gooding Jr. film.
God, I don't even remember that one.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
It's not good, guys. I'm just telling you what it is. It's from who is this guy? It's from Vincent Ward, who we're doing on our next.
He's our
movie
next series. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks stupid.
I thought we were doing Pause Unite.
Well, that's she's holding us to it.
I-
She's holding us to it.
Can't
I'm
wait for
holding
Reagan.
space for Pause Unite.
I'm holding space for Reagan.
So okay, I think that's the awards corner. We would consider it for art direction at the time, which is production design and actress. Okay, all right, Christina. Thank you so much for coming on this chaotic show as always.
Thank you for having me again. That was so much fun.
Do you mind telling everybody where they can find you and all your work on the internet? And Christina, if you can give our audience a recommendation of the week, a movie or television show, doesn't have to be new. It could be something old that you're watching right now that everybody should catch up with.
I don't mind at all. You can listen to my interviews on Pop Culture Confidential. You'll find those on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow me on Instagram, Christina Birro, Blue Sky. Ryan's on my show quite often.
I am.
We have a good time. definitely think you guys should be watching Say Nothing, which is an absolutely great series, FX Hulu, about the Troubles in Ireland, and really, really excellent series that I just zoomed through in 2 days. I think you should be watching that.
All right. I have not heard about this.
You haven't. You have to
No.
see it.
I'm always behind on television. You guys know that. I'm really bad at it.
No, I'm always behind on television.
It's
No,
based
I'm
on
always
it's an
behind.
adaptation of Patrick Radden Keefe's. He was a best-selling book about the IRA. Incredibly good cast. Watch
All
that.
right. All right. I'm gonna give it a watch. Maybe not over the holiday break, but definitely definitely sometime soon. Jay,
Yeah.
same drill.
Letterbox J Ledbetter, X, Twitter at Mr. J Ledbetter, any writing or whatever else. AwardsWatch.
Okay.
Movie recommendation. Watched this one recently. I think last step I gave one where I was like, it's kind of good. This one I'm like, it's kind of good. I watched the 1994 Little Women for the first time.
Oh boy.
And it
saw
was
this. Yeah.
totally pleasant. And also it sucks for that movie that the Gerwig movie exists now because it is a lot better. But
sorry, Gerwig and Nancy Myers.
Ooh.
it should be good.
Greta acting?
Yes, acting.
I love her as an actress. I wish she would do
She's
more.
very good. She's great in whatever that movie's called.
Which one?
White Noise.
White Noise, the one we talked about on the last episode.
Yeah. She was great in that.
She is great in that. Yeah.
I liked White Noise. I'm probably the only one. Right?
No, we were just talking about last episode.
You did.
We talked about it on the last episode. We love that movie.
Yeah, I like that movie a lot.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite.
It's in our top 10 of the year.
Yeah, it was. It's one of my favorite bomb box. Might be my favorite of his, honestly. Like I really like them. Yeah, very underrated. Very underrated. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd at Ryan McQuade 77, Blue Sky as well. Ryan McQuade 77. All my stuff is at AwardsWatch. If you like podcasts, the AwardsWatch podcast is available every Monday. iTunes, Spotify, 5-star reviews. We greatly appreciate it. While you're over on the website, please sign up for the newsletter. Please, just do it. It doesn't take that long. Just go sign up for it. It's the best place to get all the news, reviews, interviews, like Christina's interviews for Gladiator 2, all in one place. Please go and do so. Recommendation of the week. I saw a pretty pleasant film. I thought it was very fine and again a very good performance from its lead actress. I saw Thelma. Finally.
Yeah, like a perfectly fine movie.
Perfectly fine film. June Squibb, Richard Roundtree, the late Richard. Yes,
got the Gladiator. Speaking of Gladiator 2,
one of the emperors. The late great Richard Roundtree's in it, and he's wonderful opposite Squibb. It's just a really sweet little movie you can see on VOD.
It's a sweet movie. That is right.
Yeah, and it's like 90 minutes, and you can just go and enjoy it and kind of watch that with the whole family right now. You know what I mean?
That's a good Thanksgiving tip.
Yeah, right. You know, I'm trying to do the best I can, Christina.
He's holding space.
Yeah, I'm holding space.
You're just holding space.
Thank you, guys. Next week's show, we will be back. We will be continuing our Nancy Meyers movie series with a review of What Women Want from Jay's guy, Mel Gibson. So thank you all so much for listening.
The only movie that Nancy's directed that she didn't write.
Exactly. And we'll talk about that.
I'll talk about that.
Thank you once again, Christina, for coming on. Thank you all so much for listening. And we will see you all next time.